Alright, YouTube. I'm a little sick, so deal with the nasally sound in my voice. Got a deck profile for you here, and it's what I'm pretty much doing is I'm gonna be going over decks that can still be successful in this format without using Tour Guide of the Underworld. And saying if that ruling doesn't get changed, which a lot of people think it's not gonna happen, and a lot of people think it'll happen. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully they emergency ban Sanguine or change the ruling or something of the sort. But with this deck, this deck is still very viable, still very good. Can still win regionals, can still top 32 YCSs and stuff like that. So let's get to the deck list. You have 3 Reborn Tengu, 3 Striker, 3 Warwolf, and 3 Rhino. This is pretty standard, pretty easy lineup. Just 12 floaters, so you always maintain constant hand advantage, which is pretty big this format. You have 3 duality to search out, your answers for your opponent's boss monsters, because there's going to be a lot running around, and that's where the smashing ground comes in. When your opponent goes into Tour Guide Sanguine turn 1 and grabs Effect Veiler and has a 2500 Leviathan on the field, and you go second, the best option right there is Smashing Ground. I mean, if they set Call, that kind of stinks, because if you Smashing Ground, they just chain Call to Sanguine, and then you just, -1 yourself. But, that's rare, and some decks don't even do that. Run 2 Call. So, Smashing Ground, very good this format, guys. That's pretty much the best counter to turn 1 Leviathan. Then you have 2 MST. I don't run 3. I don't think it's needed with this deck. I do run heavy. I'm not sure if I want to minus the heavy and just add a 3rd MST, because this deck sets a lot of back row, and most of it is not chainable. So yeah, I run 1 creature swap to go with the trap creature swap, because a lot of times your opponent will just be sitting there with a top deck Black Luster Soldier, and for you to be able to creature swap that is awesome. Then you have Book of Moon, Heavy Storm, Lust Reborn, Darkhold. 3-Dimensional Prison. I also like this card, this format, due to Stardust is going to be played a lot more. Just because, to go into Stardust and then have 3 or 4 set back row is really nice. So you're protected from Heavy Storm and all that jank. So D-Prison gets rid of Stardust, which is nice. This card is going to be so good this format, because your opponent special summons all these crazy boss monsters, and they'll bring out the big main one, which is Black Luster Soldier, and you can just chain this to that. Say they bring out Black Luster Soldier and want to activate and remove TG Rush Rhino. You just chain TG1 EMI. Your Rhino gets removed still, but then you get the Black Luster Soldier. So yeah, or they activate Judgment Dragon, blow up the field, and then you TG IEM1, one of your TG monsters, and you swap with their Judgment Dragon, you still get a search. So this card is very, very, very good. 3 Horn of the Phantom Beast. I'm iffy on this card, due to a lot of monsters being over 2500 this format. It's rare that all players will be playing agents, but I'm sure a lot of the meta will be agents, and this isn't very good against them, so we'll probably get sided out, or it'll be in the side deck. I need to figure out, what the meta is first, because usually at the beginning of a format there's a lot of speculation, and people are hyping one deck and all that stuff, but, all the decks I've played really suck, and the most consistent one is pretty much agents, but they have to have Tour Guide in it to be consistent, and, yeah. 2 Warning. This is pretty much staple. People think it's going to be bad because MST's at 3 and Heavy Storm's back, but the card's still amazing, guys. 2 Dark Bribe this to protect all the traps I play, because I play a lot of traps. Also stops the warnings, which are nice to get out, you know, your Tengus, or get your floaters going, or drop Trish, because this deck is, you know, one of the few that can still drop Trish fairly easily, with Striker, Werewolf, and either a Rhino or Tengu in hand. I wouldn't recommend that play unless it's like, unless you know you're going to get Trish off, like if they don't have Effect Veiler in hand, because using up 3 cards in your hand without getting the searches, unless you use Tengu where you get another monster on board, isn't really good this format, unless you know you're going to hit that like Black Luster Soldier, or you're going to hit that Christia. Never mind, you can't do that when Christia's on the field. But yeah. Then Mirror Force, Compulse. I also like Compulse this format. Compulse is very good. To bounce back the Leviathans, to bounce back the Christias whenever they brought back the 3rd Fairy, or bounce the Christia, you know, to do your special summoning, and then you have TT. The deck's biggest strength this format is maintaining constant hand advantage, and the fact that is really not affected by Effect Veiler. This deck plays Skill Drain as well with Beast King Barbaros, and I actually have that in the side. I'm not sure like which route to go. This is the first one I'm trying without Beast King, because Skill Drain, to pay 1,000 life points and then have all effects negated is pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie, but to rely on Skill Drain is not a good idea, because if you Skill Drain, pay 1,000, and they chain MST, which is at 3, and they'll most likely side in their 3rd MST if they're not playing 3 already. If they see you're playing Skill Drain, is not good, because whenever you rely on that card to break up plays with MST at 3 and Heavy Storm back, it's asking for trouble. So I'm going this route with you know, the TGMIs, the Creature Swap, the Smashing Grounds, where it's just pretty much, it's like a form of Gadget, where Gadget, you know, you summon, grab your grab your other Gadget and Floater and stuff like that. I just like this better due to its support, like the TG1s, which are great. The horns are nice as well, and the Creature Swap and the Floater aspect, where it's they're not affected by Effect Veiler, because if you summon the Gadget and the Effect Veiler, then you're like, oh crap, you know, what the heck. So I kind of like this more than the Gadgets, even though I'm a big Gadget player. I love Gadgets. I just don't think this is their format, due to all the back row hate and Effect Veiler pretty much being mained and everything. So that's the deck list, guys. Let me know what you think.